Welcome to our Climate Wisdom Studio live from COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan. We bring together experts from science, politics and activists and spirituality to explore new solutions for the unfolding climate disaster. Myself, I'm Golo Pilz and I will be the moderator for tonight's session. We will talk on innovation for a green tomorrow. It's day 2 of the climate conference here in Baku, and the delegates hope to resolve the finance and the developing country. They're asking to replace the $100 billion, which they're asking right now, with $1 trillion per year. It's a staggering amount. It's all for the damage of climate change. But the financing goal is competing and overshadowed with the economic concerns, the war in Gaza and the Ukraine, and the election of Donald Trump. People worry that the US might disengage from the whole process and leave the Paris Agreement, and that other countries then backpedal on their promises on their existing climate pledges. All this adds to a feeling of apathy, and this year's COP29, top activists like Greta Thunberg call this summit a big greenwashing exercise. That's interesting. I'm glad to have 2 experts today with me and hope we can shed a bit light on the whole complex topic. I have with me Dr. Rashi Gupta. Welcome, Rashi. You're the founder and managing director of Vision Mechatronics, a pioneer in India on novel battery storage. You have received many awards for pioneering technological advancement and champion energy justice and energy equality. You are also a member of many committees and task forces and regularly present at the UN climate conferences. Welcome, Rashi.
Thank you for hosting me today.
And I'm very glad to have with us Maureen Goodman. Maureen, you are the program director for the Brahma Kumaris in UK. You have been to several climate conferences, and I heard you just came from the UN Biodiversity Conference in Colombia. And you have a very deep interest into ethical and spiritual dimensions of climate change. Since long, you have been involved also in the interreligious dialogue and represents Brahma Kumaris on many occasions. Welcome, Maureen.
Thank you very much.
So let us start straight away into our discussion. Rashi, please tell us a bit about your work in storage technology. Why is it so important to combat climate change? Many people are not aware what it actually means and what's the importance.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this beautiful session today. What I see as storage, we human beings have always been pro-storage. But it's time now that we understand that we need to store electricity and use it at the time we need it. We have to understand the value of electricity. We have known how to store food, how to store water, how to store money for that matter, which is the most important thing, and even the underlining agenda of the COP this year is finance. So we've learned all of that storage, but we have not learned still now how to most effectively store electricity and use it when we need it. That is where the new storage technologies come into picture. Traditionally, we have tried using hydro, pumped hydro for that matter, even batteries, but then batteries have been, over 400 years now. If you look at, if not 100, at least 50, 60 years, we have been traditionally using the lead acid batteries. But now it's the time to use the newer technologies like lithium, sodium, vanadium, graphene, and many more, okay? Now, if you use the right combination of these technologies for the right application, you create the right value of not just electricity, but the money that goes into these technologies. You create the right value proposition and a correct value chain for the entire mechanism so that you have electricity when you need it. The point here is that we all have been growing. Okay, the need is expanding every minute. Whether you are in an urban setup or you are in a rural setup, you need electricity. I will give one small quick example, since you had also mentioned about equality, I want to digress a bit there, maybe not so spontaneously, but I want to. Like when I say rural setup, when we were doing, there was a rural school in India, in Andhra Pradesh, where they did not have access to electricity. When we went with energy storage and solar as a combination there, we asked these young children, why you do not come to school? You have midday meals, you have free books, you have everything in education. Why you do not come? It's like, we don't have electricity. Why should I come to school? Food is something my mother gives me at home. What is unique in the school that I should come for? And the day we got them electricity, we got them internet, because with the newer technologies, Internet of Things is very important. Monitoring is extremely important. And when we did that, the two changes that impacted the rural lives there was, number one, that the school's intake, the admissions, grew multifolds. For the first year, there were 3 times, and then it kept on growing. And another underlining thing that happened was that the admission of the number of girls, that improved, and I was shocked why. So I went back to the school asking them, why are more girls coming now to the school, which was not there before? And that was pre-primary schools, like about 5th, 6th standard children, very small children. And she said, there is water in the toilets now.
Because of electricity?
Because of electricity, improved sanitation.
Okay.
Look at the link, So we need everything is driven by electricity today. Each one of us at least has 2 to 3 mobile phones, multiple of laptops, computers and gadgets, and each one is electricity hungry.
All right. So basically, storage is that important because it allows us to bridge the gap between the production of, let's say, renewable energies,
yes,
sunshine in daytime or wind turbines when the wind blows, and the need, which is often in the evening or in the morning when we have a peak load.
Absolutely.
So storage technology helps us to go ahead in the energy transition towards clean and green technology.
Well, energy transformation, not just transition.
Wonderful. So you are working in a very important area, and I know that I'm also in India most of the time, and recently so many new battery technologies are coming up. That's a very exciting time right now for storage. Thanks very much for sharing a bit light on this topic. Maureen, there is an urgency to reduce our carbon footprint. And I heard that the Brahma Kumaris organization is active since more than 25 years in the area of renewable energy. They have a very extensive program. More than 5,000 centers in India are there, and many of them are going green now. Yeah. And then you also started yogic farming and I think Kalptaru tree plantation program. These are all activities for a greener tomorrow. Can you share a bit more background on these projects?
Sure. Thank you. Very heartened to hear of what you were saying. And these grassroots projects are very, very important. The Brahma Kumaris are one of the biggest single institutional users of renewable energy or solar energy, particularly in India. And I have to say that all of our projects are not commercial in any way, but the technology that we have developed is really for sharing with the community. I think that's very important. So it really is very simple, really coming back to your real basic relationship of respect and care for the land. And the tree planting project, I think there's almost 2 million trees now being planted throughout India. But again, it's not just about plant a tree, but understand the tree that is for that natural environment, the appropriate tree, understand how to nurture it, how to grow, how it grows, so that it's also a relationship with the tree and with the land. It's not just a tree planting project, it's actually much more. So these are some of the things we've been involved in.
Thanks for sharing. I also heard that recently a biogas plant has gone online with waste management. That's one of the big issues in India, waste management, and there's a waste segregation, and it's working quite beautiful since a couple of months.
I mean, a constant innovation, actually, that
Wonderful.
we're looking at. Yeah.
So many nice projects, and I hope many people are benefiting and getting inspiration also when they come and see these systems functioning. Rashi, you are also promoting energy justice and equality.
Yes.
And I know you did some work in India in the rural areas. Can you share a bit more what's behind this idea?
Well, like I was just saying, how women are affected, how girls are affected. And we have to understand that the energy has been masculine for many, many years now. And now the energy is coming back to its balance where it's more feminine. Okay. Now, I am not giving it a gender lens. I'm giving it energy lens. I have nothing to be with against a man or a woman here. It's an energy lens. Even women have a masculine energy and even men have a feminine energy. So what I realized was that when you look at energy storage, it's so difficult. And energy, as in or rather the electricity domain, has always been male dominated for a long, long time.
Engineers,
yeah, exactly.
managers,
all of them. I mean, hardly I see women in that area, or even in the hierarchy for that matter. I don't see women there. I mean, when I started my lithium battery business in 2015 in India, when nobody was talking about lithium, I'm one of the pioneers in the country to do this. I was called an idiot to lose all my money, in the clear words. And I have no shame in admitting that I did not listen to anyone on that. And I told them, it is my money, I'm ready to lose. If I can earn it once, I can earn it twice. And I don't think I have taken a wrong decision. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been sitting here with you guys here or at the UN seat as well. So that gave me an idea. Why not make things simpler, easier, and more robust in a DIY kind of a setup, so that people are not dependent on electricians or on anyone else for that matter, and women and children who are the direct users and the beneficiaries of energy or rather electricity for that matter, can handle these things by themselves. And that is when I thought that then that will give you justice and that will give you equality. When I am not dependent on somebody else for my basic daily electricity needs, that is when I create justice. That is when I create equality. And that was my idea. In one of these installations which we did in rural India, there was one sister, or rather a lady there, and only a small fuse had blown off. She was not ready to replace the fuse, which was like opening a drawer and putting the fuse and closing the drawer. She was not ready. I'm scared. What if I get a shock? And I'm like, okay, breathe. I have the same system right here. You have the same system right there. Okay. We do it on a video call. And if I get a shock, then you get a shock. So I did it first and I showed, see, I'm all right. So then she did it. And that, imagine, it is so difficult to make them understand that you are safe. Because the first thing that comes to your mind is electricity. Oh my God, I'm going to get a shock. I just can't do it. No, it's not like that. So imagine the amount of work that has to go behind a rural setup to make them understand that technology is also for them. It's equally safe for them and they can do it. And that's what I had an idea, that I have to do something really, really at the grassroots to make these women and young children, or teenagers rather for that matter, to understand that it is okay and it is safe to use energy storage technologies. You are absolutely safe.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then when I talk of technology innovation also, I realized that when we want to save the planet, I mean, well, we are nobody to save the planet. The Mother Earth is more than capable to save herself. We as human race have to save ourselves. I mean, all the effort is to save ourselves. So in that, I realized that, we need to have more circularity coming into picture. Because, as you just said, waste management and the tons of waste that we human beings are creating, including the technological waste, has to be addressed. And that's when I also had an idea to use the EV batteries to the second life of them and to bring them again to life where they can be used for a little more extended period and at a much economical rate, because India is a very, very extremely price sensitive segment, and all the developing countries for that matter are pretty price sensitive. So I tried to come there. And then another thing was bringing more hydrogen, like with the batteries together. So that makes more sense. So having a full circular pattern to bring in all of them in one single system.
All right, that sounds very interesting, and you packed a lot of information in your statement. I remember also we distributed lanterns to the villages, and one of the issues was always the maintenance. And then we said, okay, we set up a small maintenance center. So all the lanterns which we have distributed in our little area, we maintain them also and we repair them for them. And similar to solar cooking boxes, which is a much more robust device, you always have to look into the maintenance and the operation of the gadget which you're putting somewhere in a rural setup. That's the lesson we learned already 20 years ago. And I'm very glad you also mentioned about that. And this is one of the big issues, I think, we have to look into, that how we train people and how we empower them to help themselves. Yes. Wonderful. Maureen, you are one of the experts in building a spiritual capacity, and you give a lot of talks, a lot of lectures about that, and also for the change in the transition which is in pipeline. How you do this and how this helps people to face climate change?
Spiritual capacity is about inner peace, inner strength, inner harmony. These three things. And just imagine if those three things are with a human being, then firstly, with inner peace, they'll be able, it's possible to have greater clarity in our decision making. I think when you look at how we take decisions, sometimes we take decisions that because we really are following our conscience, if you like, but very often we take decisions because we feel influenced by different opinions and different vested interests that may be bearing upon us. And so with inner peace and inner strength, we're able to navigate through those influences and actually then be in inner harmony and alignment. And I think this inner alignment is very important. Yes. Because if my thoughts are saying one thing, I'd like to do this, I'm saying something else and I may be doing a third thing. And then I feel very uncomfortable inside. And also that means I'm in a state of vulnerability and I'm more likely to get influenced maybe in a wrong direction or by others who have vested interests and want to push me in another direction. And especially when you look at leadership today, it's this sort of spiritual capacity that's absolutely needed. Otherwise, we're not going to get away from decisions that benefit maybe a small group of people, maybe a country, to decisions that can benefit the wider community and can benefit the world. And these are the decisions that are needed today. And so spiritual capacity enables that to happen, and the route to it is meditation.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We have a little bit later also meditation.
Yes.
Wonderful how you just explained it. Coming back to you, Rashi, it seems most of the understanding and also the basic technologies there for the energy transition. On the other hand, we're running very short of time now. I mean, the warning signals are everywhere. Absolutely. And what are the major hurdles in the process, also here at the COP, and how to speed up the process?
I think first the major hurdle is in the mindset. And I love what you just said, we don't have it inside. How are you going to have it outside? It's not going to happen. So what I feel is we need to make people aware of why do you need these technologies and what is the advantage to the mankind, not just in terms of availability, but also in terms of finances, because, your mind is where your money is. So if your money is put to the right use at the right place at the right time, you have the inner peace. A crazy concept, but true, that's how it has been. I mean, in the whole world, that's what I've been observing. So first is creating an awareness. Second point is that you need to have the right technology mix. You need to collaborate and not compete. What today we are doing is out of our own industrial interest or political interest or any interest for that matter. We are competing with each other. We need not do that. There's always a question whether you want a lead acid or you want a lithium, you want a hydrogen, you want a battery, you want a pumped hydro. Why do I want one of them? I want all of them. And I want them all together. That is when I will achieve energy independence. And without energy independence, I'm not going anywhere with the climate crisis. Today, I was asked a question by a 7-year-old kid, a 7-year-old girl. She asked me, how many more COPs till we save the planet? Who dares to answer that? How many more COPs till we save the planet? A 7-year-old small girl dares to ask such a big question and so in deep analysis of COP.
It's COP29, no?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How many more COPs? I think COP33 is in India and COP30 is in Brazil. How many more COPs do we save the planet? So the point here is that we need to understand how do we collaborate technologies for the benefit of the mankind, for the benefit of everybody on the planet and even the environment for that matter, to not disturb them. So it's not a competition, it's a collaboration between all technologies under the one roof. Each one can have a different market share, but we need collaboration.
Wonderful how you just summarized it, that we need collaboration. This time is moving and we're just coming very close to the end, and very, very important, Maureen, could you guide us for a brief meditation?
Sure.
And sort of change our mindset for a green future, for a better future?
I just want to say that all of these things we've been hearing give us a lot of hope. And the Executive Secretary today said, despair is not a strategy.
Despair is not a strategy.
No,
all
it's
right.
not.
So, hope. Okay, let's have a moment. And it only takes a moment to go inside and create a thought of peace. I am a being of peace. Peace is my nature. Peace helps me navigate through life. Peace brings me inner strength and inner harmony. In the face of any challenge, let me remember just this one thought. Peace is my nature. I am a being of peace. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Maureen, for this wonderful meditation. And this brings us close to the end. Thanks also, Rashi. Thanks, Maureen, for coming to this panel. Thanks also to our patrons and sponsors, and also to all the volunteers in front and behind the camera which make this possible. And please join us tomorrow for another session of Climate Wisdom from Baku. And please visit our webpage www.echo.brahmakumaris.org/live. You will find more information on our Climate Wisdom Studio. Last not least, thanks to all of you, our global audience, for staying with us. And I hope you are inspired and you get some good inspiration for new technology. And please stay with us. We will showing a video now, and after 5 minutes, we will commence with part 2 of this very innovation interview. And the title will be Innovation for a Green Tomorrow. Thanks very much.
Founded in the year 1936, Brahma Kumaris has activities in more than 110 countries across the globe. With its headquarters located in Mount Abu, Rajasthan, India, the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University is a socio-spiritual, non-governmental organization, NGO, with affiliations in many UN bodies. It started with affiliations in the year 1980 with the UNDPI, United Nations Department of Public Information, followed by affiliation from ECOSOC, observer status in UNFCCC, UNCBD, UNEP, and recently in UNCCD. COP and COIS. Brahma Kumaris delegates participate actively in these events for providing spiritual dimensions to decision-making, action planning, and helping to obtain a more holistic approach. Brahma Kumaris is also an active member of Green Interfaith Dialogues. In 2011, Brahma Kumaris and World Renewable Spiritual Trust were recognized by the Ministry of Science and Technology as a scientific and industrial research organization. India One Solar Thermal Power Plant is one of India's largest solar projects with a capacity of 1 megawatt. It is functional since 2017. On an institutional level, Brahma Kumaris are the largest users of solar energy in India. It also stands to be one of the oldest organizations to work with solar energy in the country. The journey with solar energy started long back in 1996 with the installation of modular solar cooking systems. Soon, more research led to the use of solar energy in various activities like water heating, cooking more than 40,000 meals a day, using solar in almost all day-to-day activities. 350 solar photovoltaic battery systems of a total capacity of 1.4 megawatt peak were installed in different branches of the organization. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and United Nations Development Programme sponsored an awareness and training center on solar energy in Shantivan campus in 2014. The Brahma Kumaris have shared its best practices with other organizations to equip them with solar power. Sustainable Yogic Agriculture is an ongoing research program in which traditional organic farming with interventions of Raja Yoga meditation is being studied by many agricultural universities in the country. It has been recognized by the Government of India. Tapovan, a 100-acre dedicated farming land, is being used for the research to help farmers deal with growing agricultural issues. For more than 10 years, we have taken care of nearly 20 parks in Mumbai. Our very own Peace Park in Mount Abu is home to thousands of varieties of flowering plants. Our lifestyle, discipline of vegetarianism, is also a way of decreasing our carbon footprint. The Brahma Kumaris Gyan Sarovar Academy for a Better World was presented to Habitat 2, the second United Nations Conference on Human Settlements held in Istanbul, Turkey. It was recognized as part of the Best Practice Initiative for Human Settlements. Our vision is for individuals, governments, and global corporations involved in the environmental decision-making process to root their work in the universal spiritual principles and thus bring harmony, clarity, calmness, stability and power to their thinking and interactions. It is the aim of the Brahma Kumaris to highlight the relationship between our awareness and the technology we choose. We believe that a holistic approach based on peace, cooperation, and love is the key to a sustainable future.